Good evening. It's a real pleasure to be here to represent the Employability and Career Centre and the academic section. The title of my talk is Volunteering, Employability and So Much More. And when starting to prepare that talk, I began with the question, what is a volunteer? And like many people in that situation, I turned to the most authoritative source in the English language, that is the Oxford English Dictionary. And there you can see that a volunteer is someone who freely offers to take part in an enterprise, or a person who works for an organisation without being paid. And I probably didn't need to tell you that, but it is useful to go back to that definition, because hidden within it there is a really important nugget that is very special to understanding what this evening is all about. And that is that it's a person who freely offers their services. And I'd like you to hold on to that notion of freely giving something as a volunteer, because we'll return to that a little bit later towards the end of the talk. Now, it's quite appropriate also to begin with the Oxford English Dictionary, because this extraordinary publication was to a significant extent the work of volunteers. It was begun in 1857, but you can imagine the task of compiling, identifying and describing the history of all of the words in the English language is an extraordinary task for anyone to undertake. So in 1879, the editor issued an open invitation for people to support with that task. And as a result, hundreds and thousands of volunteers got involved in developing the Oxford English Dictionary. Some of them were working for 10 or 20 years and submitting thousands upon thousands of correctly cited definitions for the dictionary. So here we have this extraordinary dictionary, the largest in the world, a creation of care and skill into which volunteers have contributed. And that tells us something really, really interesting. That in volunteering, you are renewing the world. And there are many different ways in which volunteers renew the world. Whether it's something as simple but important as going into a local primary school and reading to kids who maybe do not have the care and attention from their parents that perhaps they need. It might be volunteering in St John's Ambulance to help out revellers, if I can put it that way, at Colchester on a Saturday evening. Or it could be setting up a student Rotary Club to provide the opportunities and benefits to students here. And all of those different forms of volunteering, and many that I'm not even trying to list, make the world a better place and change the world for the better. And the exciting thing is that in changing the world, we also change ourselves. And there has been quite a lot of research into what contributes to personal growth in individuals, particularly students at university. And those researchers have identified a number of factors that lead to personal growth. And very simply, they're getting out of old established habits, getting out of old ways of thinking, and meeting new people, encountering new ideas, and enjoying new experiences. And all of those lead to an increase in maturity and a wider vision. And that wider vision and that maturity is highly prized by employers. Because employers are looking for people who have initiative, determination, values, integrity, good team working skills. And if you want those, then volunteering gives you those in bagfuls. And this has been subject of academic research. And the good news is that the researchers who've looked at this have found out that this is actually the case. This is really what happens. So Brennan and Shah, a number of years ago, undertook a large survey. And they said that participation in extracurricular activities, that's volunteering to you and me, while in higher education has long been regarded as something likely to have positive impact on employment prospects, because it looks good in the CV, you can build your contacts, you can grow in confidence, and you can develop skills and competences. And the really great news from their very serious piece of research is that, as they conclude there in red, The experiences of the students in our sample bore out these conclusions. So you guys are doing the right things if you want to enhance your employability. I want to go back now very briefly and return to the notion of volunteering as something which is given freely. We call something that is given freely a gift, and that gift may be wrapped up in paper with a bow, but it could just as easily be a gift of time, or of effort, or of skills, or maybe money that you have raised through fundraising events. And all of those are gifts. And as those gifts go out into the world, as we said, they make it a better place. Now, anthropologists, curiously enough, have spent a long time studying how gift giving works in societies which are ancient and modern. And they conclude that gifts do not stand still. What do they mean by saying that gifts don't stand still? What they mean is that one good turn tends to lead to another. And that as you go out into the world giving gifts, other people will catch the bug and give gifts in turn. And those gifts are rather like pebbles which are thrown into a pond. Each one creates a circle that radiates out. And when you have a load of people throwing those gifts, those pebbles, into the pond, then you have circles that interact and cross over. And then you have something very special occurring, and that is a gift-giving community. And that's actually what we see here this evening. Now this is my final slide, and you'll see it has a picture of a boomerang on it. Because as those gifts leave your hand, as you almost, as it were, throw them away into the world like somebody throwing a boomerang, then what tends to happen at some stage, improbably, mysteriously, and often unexpectedly, those gifts will return to you to enrich you with new friends, new opportunities, and yes, if you're looking for it, employability prospects as well. And it's for that reason that I am honoured and delighted to participate in this year's vOscars ceremony. Thank you very much. Thank you.